Hi, welcome back to more rural stuff. I'm out today with the Husqvarna 357XP. I'm going to do a bit more cutting on this sycamore tree, or what's left of it. I cut most of the tree up with a much smaller Stihl MS211. I prefer using a lighter machine where possible, it's just easier. But I've got some quite big tree trunks to go through. So at the moment that's only got a 15-inch bar on it, so I'll take a few bits of wood off and then I've got a new 18-inch bar, and even that's going to have to work around the rest of the tree trunk a bit. I'll see how it gets on. Here's the machine. I've had it a few years now, so if you're thinking about getting a second-hand 357XP, I can recommend them. I've had quite a few bars on this now. This one's fine. Obviously all the paint's worn off the side. It's got the wider bar than smaller chainsaws. It's got a 1.5mm gauge bar on it. Other than a few bars I've gone through, which is usual wear and tear. You know, I've gone through a few chain brakes. The actual chain brake handle, I've managed to break that I think once or twice before. But other than that, it's a really good machine. You've got a adjustment for the oil flow for the chain. So that's just there. There's a screw there. It's got 3 adjustments for the flow of chain oil. Decent sized filler caps for the fuel and chain oil. And also a little slot. If someone over tightens them, then you can use a screwdriver or the multi-tool to undo them. Don't really have that problem though. Don't need any tools to take the top cover off. It's just clips on the side to get to your plug and filter. This one doesn't have a primer bulb. It's just got a decompression button on the side. If you press that in before you start it each time, it starts much easier. Then you've got the on-off and the choke there. A couple more specs on the saw before I get it started. It's 4.4 horsepower and it's 56.5cc engine capacity. I usually use, as I said, a much smaller Stihl MS211, which is less than half the power of this one. But I tend to use that quite a lot to cut back overgrowth in hedges and things. So that's really my main saw, and then I bring this out when I want to cut up something a little bit bigger. Although it's still a very compact saw. You know, it's not a huge chainsaw or anything, but I find it works great for what I want to use it for. I have started it already, so it's already warmed up. So it should start first pull. So that's already getting a little bit large in diameter for the 15-inch bar. I think I'll try out my new 18-inch bar on it. It'll be a lot easier. A longer bar, slightly less power, because I'll lose a bit of power with the extra length. That's what I've got to put on it. I haven't gone for a Husqvarna bar. I've just gone for what was available in the shop, which is an Oregon Advanced Cut HD. So there you go, 18-inch bar, 1.5 gauge. 325 pitch and 72 drive links, and an Oregon chain to go with it. I do make the bars last as long as possible. You know, if they wear down unevenly or whatever, you can file them level or whatever, get the burrs off them. Sometimes you just have to bin them and stick a new one on, but I'll be keeping the 15-inch bar on that's on there. That's one thing with this saw I always notice, it does leak quite a bit of bar oil out. When you put it in your shed, it's worth putting some rags or something under it. I've done that since I've had it. You have to have a screw for the packaging. Oh, look at that, it came straight undone. You usually get 2 kinks that you have to shake out, don't you? It always amazes me how little maintenance the cheap chainsaw needs and how much more this one needs. A new chain, so I'll have to check the tension a few times. It's not like right, that looks the part a bit more, I think. The chain seems to have stretched a little bit already, so I'm going to tighten her up a little bit. Seem to be oiling quite enough either, so let's turn up the oil a bit. Yes, having to work quite hard through this bit even. Doesn't quite reach all the way through. I'm getting sort of 3/4 of the way through. I have to do the other bit from the other side and then roll it over to do the last cut so I don't blunt the chain on the ground. Not sure how I'm going to go about this big piece. This is a lot bigger. I don't really like dealing with big tree trunks. Luckily I got my friend who's a proper tree surgeon. He dropped it for me and I've just been cutting it up. So I like to deal with the smaller trees. I've done the stiff cut up to 16-inch diameter. So this is way over that, but it's on the ground, so I'm going to deal with it. I think what I'll do is, because it's still sort of bouncing on the trunk up there, and there's a lot of weight up there. I'm just going to take, it's a bit like a tripod, there's a leg there as well. I'm going to take a bit more off the end here, where it's off the ground. So somewhere around there. I think I'm going to take it off there and then put some straps on it maybe and pull it into the field with the tractor so it's safely on the ground, because there's a lot of weight on that and I don't want it rolling on me or anything. So it's going to be safer to pull it into the field and work on it from there then. Right, got those bits loaded on. Easy to get on with, and so I've got a bit of space. Right, it's getting there. My chain's stretched. As it's new, you'd expect that, so that'll need a tighten. And we're getting down to the thicker stuff now. Any sign of movement and I'll be stopping. And then, even if it doesn't move, I think I'm going to take a couple more logs off and then try and roll it out with the tractor. I'm not climbing up there and cutting logs off that anyway. That's sort of 7 or 8 feet up. I suppose I could do it with a ladder, but I'm not going to do that. So I've got more weight on that side, so if it does roll anyway, it's going to roll that way. So I'm going to take a little bit more off here and then pull it out, I think, see how it goes. Right, chain's tensioned. So next job, get a rope or a chain around it and pull it over with the tractor, I think. I've got plenty of logs to be getting on with splitting now anyway. This load and several before it. So that's about it for this video. I've given the Husqvarna 357XP a good workout there. This tree trunk was a little bit big for it. Ideally I'd have a bigger chainsaw for that, but I normally stick to much smaller trees than this. So this is the machine I've got, and seems to be doing the job anyway. Just have to work around those bigger tree limbs. And it's a tree out the back of my house anyway.